Welcome to Rauta. Now every now and then we feel the kind of a need to listen to something less extreme than, well, extreme metal. That is, go beyond the borders of what we usually listen to, be it death metal, black metal, thrash metal, or even, I don't know, traditional heavy metal, doom metal, whatsoever. And this one is a little bit on the verge of being metal at all. Some say it's more progressive rock, some say it's kind of softer metal. Now, I don't know how you want to define it, but let's say Metal Archives doesn't really list it as one of the metal bands, so we could call it just some progressive metal meeting, progressive rock. Some would even say this one, called Soen, has somewhat, say, AOR-like elements. That is, album-oriented rock. Some would say it's more on the progressive side, and that is what this makes this all so interesting. It's not exactly heavy metal, it's not exactly progressive rock, because if I was to mention that this one, called Imperial, is exactly AOR or progressive rock, you would start about bands like Kansas or Asia or Pink Floyd or whatever. But if I would say this is indeed a progressive metal album, that might be leading you to something different. Now, whatever is the case, this one definitely has both worlds. Best of both worlds in a way. Kind of a metallic, but on the softer kind. Kind of a progressive rock-like, but heavier than that. Melancholic, nonetheless, atmospheric, heavy, well done. Now, Soen is sort of a supergroup, or at least that's how the band started. And since those early years, the lineup has changed a little bit, so it's not exactly the same band as it used to be. But nevertheless, this is definitely something very promising and good for the fans out there, maybe even finding some new fans. Now, considering that Rauta channel is mostly about extreme metal, one could even imagine, like, what the hell is this guy doing with the band like Soen? Well, first of all, I am a sucker for all kind of music when it comes to metal, and I'm definitely up for challenging myself and my own taste buds with something different. So here we go. And this is, by the way, Non-Metal Sunday, so if that helps you to digest this review, go ahead. Now, this album was already released on the early weeks of 2021. However, I got this a little bit late, but it doesn't really matter because music doesn't get old that well, though that quickly. And today when I was spinning Imperial, I was very much thinking the same thing. Why is this coming to me? I mean, am I the right person to review such music as this? Obviously not, but who cares? What matters is that if I like it, and I could say, I kind of like it. It's not like my favorite cup of tea, obviously, because my musical buds are kind of a twisted and crooked and all that stuff. But when it comes to, say, talk about some band that sounds very, very well produced and nicely done and touching all the right buttons with its melancholia and making it sound kind of soft and fuzzy at the same time as being metallic and really, really well done. Well, this is the kind of album we're talking about. Now, these 42 minutes or so are done with extreme level of professionalism. You can pretty much hear on the details how the songs are structured or how the instruments are played and, how the whole album sounds. It's really, really powerful, but not being, what is so often called like sterile production. Or, when we're talking about some kind of a clinical sound, like everything's sounding way too pure. So kind of in essence, lacking the kind of organic feeling. Now, this is where Imperial steps in to say, hello, we're here to prove that you can do things really, really smooth and nice and still have the kind of organic feeling, yet without the kind of a dirtiness, the little bits and pieces that kind of make some of those albums sound like not as powerful or not as crisp and clear as they could be. Now, the songwriting is obviously a matter of taste. I mean, whether you are in for this kind of, say, adult metal or whatever, that is obviously up to individual taste. Some would say this is way too lame, way too soft and all that stuff. But then again, when we're talking about this kind of a softer metal where progressive rock elements come into play, I don't think how much better you can really do it without kind of going in the other directions. And these other directions are obviously going even softer, going way more AOR kind of stuff, having with those progressive elements and going kind of a more mainstreamish. Or then you go kind of a more extreme, more metallic, more heavier side of things, and well, then it's not gonna sound like the same. For example, this is just clean vocals, very nice and smooth, but not for people who are, more into growlier parts or screamier, shrieker kind of stuff. So this is not the kind of album you're looking for when you are in for some raspy vocals or some level of aggression or heaviness. I wouldn't even recommend this to people who are purely into kind of a traditional doom, even though there are like overlapping elements. I mean, this is mostly kind of a slow tempo or even mid-tempo stuff, which is not that far away from, doomier sides of things. And especially when this level of kind of a dark melancholia is present there, and you're looking for something like, okay, something soothing, but kind of a, dark and, not so inspiring music in terms of being uplifting and all, this is the kind of stuff you might be going for. But it's not like doom. It's not purely that progressive rock or AOR, but kind of having all these ideas blending in, but seamlessly. So overall, I would say this is a nicely crafted album that is, able to combine these different worlds into one without sounding, pretentious and all. So I would say this is pretty good an album. Not masterpiece from my perspective, but that's maybe because I'm not into this kind of stuff, big time like so many other fans out there. But in case you want to look for something else, or maybe you're a fan of this kind of style but haven't, for another reason or two, heard about this band, go give it a go. Like I said, it's not listed on Metal Archives, so maybe you are looking for some other alternative sources for your information, or maybe you just head for the band's homepage and go checking out where this album is available. I'm pretty sure that mainstream record labels, online or otherwise, will have this ready for you to pick up. And in case you're looking for information regarding gigs and whatnot, head to the band's camp's website site. Alright, that's all from Rauta. Take care and enjoy your day. Bye bye.